Okay, so this week we have the connectivity seminar. The concept is that there's a medical office, there's 10 staff, 5 of which are administration, there's 3 doctors, and there's 2 nurses. So the office wants to set up a wireless network and is looking for our advice. So first of all, we need to start off with what is a network. So a network is a collection of devices, also known as nodes within a network. This includes computers, printers, any devices that can be connected together via communications devices and transmissions media. Any doctor's office is going to need to share medical records. They're going to need printers, they'll probably have scanners, and all of these can be connected in a network. All the computers in the office will also need software systems to share patient information. So everyone will need access to that. The advantages of using a network are that they can share hardware, for instance printers or scanners, which saves the company money. You could have perhaps just 2 printers in the entire office for all 10 people, and each person can have access to that via their computer or their node or station on the network. Communication is easy on a network. Patient appointments could be shared from the administrative staff to the doctors and the nurses, and the same is true the other way. So the doctors and nurses can put in their prescriptions or pull up patient education from a database within the network. Authorized users can access data and info stored on other computers on the network. So again, if it was patient education stored in the network itself, then anyone can pull that up and print it off for the patient. So there's different types of network configurations. One of them is a star network. So it's literally in a star shape. All devices are connected to a central connection point, which is called a hub or a switch. This network is easy to install because nodes can be added or removed without disturbing the rest of the network. If one node fails, the rest of the network is not affected. So if one of the computers crashes, or if somebody's out of their office that day and has their computer shut off and locked down, the door's locked, nobody can get in there, it doesn't matter. The rest of the network will still work without that. However, if the hub at the central connection point is affected, so too could the entire network be affected. Any data that's transmitted on this network passes through that central point, which is the hub. A bus network is where there's a central cable connecting all the devices on the network. Devices again can be removed or connected without disturbing the rest of the network. So again, if something crashes or if there's a problem with one of the computers, you could take that off and it doesn't affect the rest of the network. Data can be transmitted in both directions along this central cable. The ring network is what it sounds like. All the computer stations or the nodes are connected in a loop, and data is transmitted from device to device around that ring. If a node fails on this network, the entire network is at risk for failure, obviously because the data goes around in a loop. So if one of those is failing, then the entire network is at risk. So for this office, we'd recommend a wireless LAN, wireless local area network. There's no physical wires. It'll use radio waves to communicate between nodes. The computers do need built-in wireless capability, but most computers nowadays would have. Will often communicate with a wired LAN to access some software or hardware. So therefore, it would actually be a hybrid wired wireless rather than an actual only wireless LAN. So they'll need hardware for this, one of which is a modem that will connect to the internet service provider, ISP, and that's generally connected via an Ethernet cable. So that's what makes it your wired hybrid, if you like. The Ethernet cable is connected to the modem, and this also acts as an access point for the other devices. So say the nurses in their little office have a tablet that they're taking down patient information. The admin staff are going around with a laptop, taking in the initial information from the patients, and then they can print up stuff at the end. All of these devices are on the network, and all of them use this access point, which is the modem, to connect to the internet. A router is a device that connects computers and other devices, and it transmits data on the network. So that'll be connected to your modem. Sometimes you can have the modem and routers all in one package. So it's a combi, I guess, which is kind of handy because it's all in one package. That will be connected via cable, but from that there'll be a wireless access. A peer-to-peer network is generally recommended for less than 10 computers. There's no centralized control, there's no administrator. All the computers on this network share peripheral devices. So again, your printers, which is no big deal for a small office with less than 10 computers. However, there's no centralized file sharing area. So files could be deleted by other users on the network in this one. So if somebody by accident deletes their entire hard drive and someone else has shared on that, then that information is gone. So then you have a client-server network. In this one computer acts as the hub or the server, and this provides services. For example, that data storage that I was just talking about would all be on this server, and only the systems administrator can delete that. Not everyone on the network will have administrative abilities and therefore would not be able to delete data that we need. Printers can also be provided by this hub or server. The other computers on the network would consume these services that the hub gives out. Again, like I said, data is stored on a server. The only drawback with this is there's a more expensive operating system needed for that server. For example, NetWare or Windows Server, Windows 2000. And also this needs a lot of pre-planning. So you need to plan how you're going to set this up prior to actually setting it up. Whereas if you had a peer-to-peer, you could just add things on as you went along. That's my references. Thank you all for watching. Have a good week.